The problems are really hard. I have no illusions about this is a multi-decade journey, but you have to start somewhere. We keep saying digitize things and everything when people can't even read or people don't even feel confident that if they say something, they'll be listened to. This is really hard. You can give them tools, but if they feel I live in a slum, who's going to care about me? I spent first 10 years of life in Delhi. And then my father got transferred to Dehradun, and that's where I spent most of my formative years. He got transferred every 5 years, so that's something we got used to, which I think was a big part in how you shape up because you experience different things. You get used to change. He was building stuff, which was very impressive. He'll say, this bridge, Wazirabad Bridge in Delhi, I was a junior engineer and I was part of it being built, which was very impressive, And he'll tell stories of how he's walking on the unbuilt bridge and the wind was blowing. It's a legacy in a way, right? Now that you think back of it. But when you talk about his work, there was a lot of almost frustration at times about how things are done. My mother's in the middle with the sunglasses, and my older brother on the left-hand side with the naughty smile. And that's me, maybe 7-year-old. For some reason, I was very different from the whole of the family, and you know how India is, I was very dark and stuff like that. And then I got glasses very young, and people will mercilessly tease you, you're blind and stuff like that. So I think that was a big struggle. I had a real fear that I would not measure up. When I look back at my life, Neetu, my wife, has unshackled me. I was very serious and I would say a bit of a cynic. Intensity of her laughter is always a reflection of how well the life is going. She's very confident in striking conversations. So sometimes I hide behind her to kind of run my life a bit. Last 4 years or so, it's been very consuming. It's been very hard, actually. For the first time, I've had sleepless nights about what we're doing. And I think that's where somebody who can pull you and say, this is the reality, right? When I was in UK, I was running a bank's cards business, and you saw the roads, the infra. I always felt this is something we can try to do. When I came back to India, everybody said, what's wrong with you? You got a good job, you got a good life, good education. Why do you want to come back? But we're just restless, I think. I just felt I was missing out, and there was so much happening here. And it was home. Nobody should ask me why I should have come back home. This is home for me. So there is a bit of that throbbing vein or kida in me, and I think Neetu shares that with me, that you need to give it a shot, right? And I just felt at that time, every time I used to come back to India, the velocity of change, the opportunities that were coming in, and the overall, you feel that energy. I still feel it. And when I travel and come back, I say, oh, this is nice, right? On hindsight, a lot of people, when we made the decision to come back, I think people really scared us. But I think we just were very determined to come back. And we were also aware of that if we don't do it now, we're 8 years there. We felt unless we do it now, this will never happen. And there was just this sense of that there's something more significant waiting for us, both professionally and personally, that kind of made us kind of do it. E-GOV's role is to make sure services are delivered to the citizens in a manner that 21st century should be, right? They should have access and they should have choice of access. What we do to achieve that is create an open digital ecosystem, which basically helps them transact and deliver services and consume services in a frictionless manner. That's the first step that we as a community, city, state, country need to make. I remember Rajiv Gandhi, he started his speech saying, I am young, India is a young country, and like all young people, I have big dreams, and India has big dreams. It gives you hope. Government is a service provider to you. Whether it's applying for new water connection, new approval for enhancing your building, or paying your dues to the municipality, complaining about something, they're all services that you are entitled to. So I think the reason we exist is to make our cities easier to live in for the citizens. So we're not just about providing technology, we're also providing a way of intersection between government and the citizen to transact in a manner that creates that positive loop of saying, if I say something, something happens. This is what positive loops are about. It is really saying to yourself, I can play a role. Once you have that intent, I think things open up. I think when you talk about next $500 million, I guess the key thing is to meet them where they are and don't make assumptions about where they need to be. It is very difficult to design for multiple contexts. And that's one of the roles we have to play, that the flexibility to design something when the context changes, right, is a role of infra. The key thing is people find it easier to use technology, what they're already using. If I can just, on a chatbot, say, on Hindi or English or the local language, this is my locality, I want to raise a complaint, and just put a photo in, or where are my bills for my water and this, and you can pay it online. I think that's a good starting point. There are certain ways you can design programs or design services for citizens around that. We are working with intermediaries. They work with community, let's say it's a slum or a marginalized community, to get them access to government services. Can they use some of our tools to make them more effective in their work? So you have to constantly keep thinking, where are next $500 million and how you can go there. When you're an entrepreneur, and let's face it, you are taking a very big risk. You're saying, I'm putting my hand up to create something. And over a period of time, you build that. People say, oh, you built a startup. Wow, what a great thing you did. But a lot of things kind of fall in place. Somebody you just spotted in an airline lounge, you struck a conversation, that became your first client. No, there's nothing you have done to make it happen, right? And that kind of carries on. We get this inflated sense of how much we control. And that can be really harmful in a context where there are multiple stakeholders. There's no single goalpost, right? And goalposts change as kind of contexts change. We cannot ignore our responsibility of, making this change happen. If you get too stuck in your own view, you get too stuck in your own approach, which I think entrepreneurship teaches you in some ways, and perseverance is a very strong part of an entrepreneur, right? That could really be detrimental in my mind. Simple way to put my vision for India is that everybody has equitable opportunities and an environment around that in which they can succeed. I think if we as a nation can achieve that, I think the sky's the limit.